Man.
Long time coming, OG.
Quick.
Okay, you DJing now.
Quick.
I'm retiring. You heard it first right here. I'm retiring. He's taking my job.
Yeah, man. Quicksilva, a.k.a. the party kingpin.
Man, good to see you, OG. Man, we've been talking about this for a minute, man.
Man, we talking for a minute, man. Yeah. But you won't stay on the flight. How I say, what about next week? I'm in Miami. What about this week? Just got puffing them. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? So, you came out there, man. Before we start, though, man, look, man, I ain't usually a dude to get overexcited, man, but that watcher mean.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
That watcher mean joint, man.
It ain't nothing but a timepiece.
Yeah, God, man, Kirk Fraser took the light on. We had a light right. He said, we don't need the light because that right there is too much light right there. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you work hard, it's an investment.
How you been, man?
I've been blessed, man. Blessed and highly favored. Man, I've been at this for a long time. I say long decades.
Right.
In this business that we in, especially entertainment business, if you get hot for 5 years, people say like, you got a wave. Right. If you get hot for 10, they say you legendary.
Right.
What happens when you've been hot for 30?
Damn.
Like, what do you call that? I don't even know what you call that.
Well, your first ballot Hall of Famer. That's for one thing. That's like 30 years.
I've been relevant since the 90s, man. This is crazy.
And you don't look like it, though, man. You don't look like you've been that time, man. You always look still young and fresh and stay up with the look. Is that all your eye, man, or the wifey? The wifey got a little she in the closet for you, man.
That's all me, man.
That's all you?
I think I'm still young. I'm only 42 years old.
For real?
Yeah, I'm a kid, man. I've been in the business. My first DJ gig, I was 10. I've been in nightclubs since I was 15. So a lot of people that's been following my career on radio or in the club, they're like, I've been partying with Quick in 95 at this club. I was 15 years old. I wasn't even old enough to be in the club. Right. So a lot of people didn't know that because I always hung around the OGs. Right. I was outside early, if you know what I mean. So I was always around people that were 19, 21, 23 at 15.
Right.
So, when people find out, I've been partying with Quick for 26 years. He must be 50 years old. And they're like, how the fuck is he only 42?
Well, you messed me up with that one, though. Yeah. I was thinking 50.
No, man,
so now you ain't look 50,
right.
I was thinking 50 because Quick, man, look.
You've been listening to me for 30 years.
Man, look, you've been branding so hard. I just found out to be truthful that you was from Baltimore.
It's so crazy. I'm going to tell you what's crazy. I've been in DC, based out the DC area since 2001. So 22, 23 years, probably longer than that. But I've been DJing in DC since the 90s.
Right.
But I've been living on this side for the last 20 plus years. So I've been here so long. A lot of my national notoriety, a lot of my big deals that I've gotten, it's come because I was in the major market like Washington, D.C. Born and raised in Baltimore, of course. Right. But it's crazy when I travel. A lot of times when promoters book me in different countries or different cities, they be like, straight from DC, Quicksilva. Right. And my Baltimore dude, they be like, no, hell no. Nigga, no, you ain't claim. That's my mate. Quick as ours, Javonte's ours. Y'all niggas ain't gonna keep doing so. Man. Baltimore's home, man. I'm born and raised East Baltimore, Shady Side Road to be exact. But DC is my second home, man. DC has embraced me. It wasn't this when I first came.
Okay, yeah.
So people don't remember, like, the love that I get now, I didn't get this 20 plus years ago.
Right, yeah.
It was rough when I first came to DC because I was from Baltimore.
Right, yeah.
And right now, the bridge has been, the gap has been bridged a little.
Right.
But if you remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you was from Baltimore, DC niggas said, you a Bama.
Right.
If you was from DC, we called y'all clowns.
Right.
Like it was a little camaraderie. It wasn't this.
Right.
So when I first came to DC, I've learned over the years to adjust my accent, but I talk so and I had a white tee on down on my knees and dreadlocks. So I remember everybody saying when I first came here, there's no way he's gonna get hot in DC. That nigga's a Bama. Look at him. He talk funny. I mean, I heard it all. I mean, you name it, I heard he gonna be hot for a year and fall off.
Right.
It was 25 years ago when I heard this.
25 years ago.
And I'm still here on the wall at Ben's Chili Bowl for being a public figure for the last 2 decades.
That was powerful. I seen that Ben's Chili Bowl. That was powerful, man.
Man, that was beyond powerful. I think that moment, and of course, I'm sure you follow, but the mayor in Baltimore, they renamed the street I grew up on, Quicksilva Way.
Right, yeah.
Both of those moments for me, I would say, are more valuable than any accolade I've won, because those are moments that normally people don't get until some shit happened to you.
Right, yeah.
I can curse, can I?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But those are moments that normally don't happen until like you die or you go to jail for life or something like that. Then people give you flowers. Kurt was a good man.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially the street naming, like, you know, Ben's Chili Bowl was like a humbling thing. Shout out to the Ali family. I mean, when they called me, they're like, quick. And what I love about Ben's Chili Bowl is that when they put me on the wall of fame, they call it, it was like, this is for your community service. This ain't even for the DJ. Like, you know, you've been an activist. You've been, you know, leading the way every march, every time you've been called upon. No matter how busy you were, you always show up for us and for, you know, March on Washington. When it happened with Black Lives Matter, you know, I was the keynote speaker at the Lincoln Memorial. Like, you know, I've always allowed myself, I don't care how busy I am, to use my platform and my voice to help others. I believe that's my calling. I love DJing, that's my passion, but my calling is inspiring. And then of course in Bmore, and that shit fucked me up because, you know, I'm sure we get into it. Like, you know, the street that I grew up on in the late 80s, 90s was rough. Shady Side Road, you know, bodies, drugs, you know, that's when crack came in. So some of the stuff that I've been through on that street, you know, I've been shot on that street. I was in the game, like a lot of shit that I've been through. A lot of people who know me from as Rico from Shady Side, you know, they still live around there. So when I come around there now, it's a different thing. I'm the dude that was no better than nobody, but I made it out and I became very successful. But when one of the neighbors, and I said this when I spoke, one of the neighbors, when they announced that they were, you know, knocking on the door, telling them they were renaming the street Quicksilva Way, she said, I started crying because I thought you was dead. Because you never hear about no shit like this until like, you got to die to get a street after you. Or if you got a business, you can rename your business street. But like the fact that there's a kid right now that's going to grow up on 1642 Quicksilva Way, like that shit crazy.
Right up there. 200 blocks like, Quicksilva Way, whatever the 100 block it is.
That's crazy. Like that shit. It's a little younger time, but yeah, I'm from Quicksilva Way. Like you know, I'm from Southeast. Like I'm from Quicksilva Way. Like that shit crazy to me. Because that's something that can't be taken away. All my accolades. If I don't work hard this year, somebody else can surpass me. If I don't keep doing this, somebody else can become the party kingpin or East Coast #1 DJ. All the shit I won. But Quicksilva Way is forever. It ain't like I'm battling nobody for that. I'm not battling anybody to be on the wall at Ben's Chili Bowl. These are things that are eternity, and like I say, these are things that make you an icon, an inspiration, because these are things that people can't take away.
They can't take it away. Something else crazy, man. Ben's Chili Bowl, you gotta put my name up to all them burgers.
Absolutely.
Turkey burgers out of up there, man. For all that money I spend up there, but nah. But that was powerful though, because I seen that, man. I seen some of the ceremony, you know, that was what's the name, and that was real powerful. Man, you live on that street up there, there's a lot of people, a lot of stuff happen. How did Quicksilva avoid that type of, not tragedy for us killing, but just all that part of, you know, that come with the streets like that? How did you avoid it?
The honest answer is I didn't avoid it. Like, you know, like you say, you know, we're not going to incriminate myself on it, but you know, at the age of 10, I lost my mom to cancer. At the age of 10, that's when I started doing some of the wrong shit. I mean, like I go off the stoop early. You know, all the people that I looked up to in the neighborhood, you know, my big homies, my big cousin, like, you know, they all were in the streets heavy in the late 80s, early 90s. And, you know, that's who we inspired to be like. You know, we didn't want to be like the guy on TV. I wanted to be like him. He had the Z back in the day, or Act Legend back in the day with the BBSs, and he had the gold on and the rollie, and so you know that's I got attracted to that street life early. Like I say, you know, I started doing the wrong thing at the wrong time at a very young age. You know, if I would talk about this publicly for years. You know, at 13, I got shot. I was paralyzed for 9 months. A lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people who know Quicksilva Radio, they don't even know, like, 'cause I don't brag about it. It's not something I brag about. But at 13, I got shot. I was paralyzed for 9 months. Doctor told me I would never walk again. You know, I'd want to re-walk all over again. But, you know, I remember coming home from the hospital, and it was crazy because I remember I was in the hospital for literally 9 months. And when I finally came home, it was almost like I just came home. So, you know, all my niggas is outside, and it was almost like a badge of honor. So,
Right,
so that
yeah.
made me feel like,
Right.
like I'm really a street nigga, and like I
Right.
done been shot, like
Right.
like you know that was my mentality
Right.
then.
Yeah, young.
You know, I'm young.
Right.
I'm carrying a strap every day. Like this
Right.
is what I was taught.
Right.
You know, I was always DJing, but you know, I was DJing and doing other stuff at the same time. But you know, at the age of 18, my dad passed away. So I think that was the real pivotal moment where I realized like how short life can be. Because I'm like, you know, I'm an 18-year-old, barely graduated high school. You know, shout out to City. That's the school I went to. But because I was making money so young, during my high school years, I wasn't as focused on school. I remember like it was yesterday. You know, I went to City, which is a college preparatory school. So you're supposed to register to go to college to graduate. And I remember like they had a college fair or something there. And I might have been in 9th or 10th grade. And by this time, you know, I'm already, you know, I bought, at 16, I bought me a car with cash. So like, you know, I was making money at that age. And
I was in the mud. Quicksilva was in the mud,
nigga,
man.
At 16, I literally, on my 16th birthday, if anybody know me in real life, my 16th birthday, cash, I bought a Nissan Maxima. Which back then was, nigga, I had a Nissan Maxima, I had gold BBs, I had sheepskins, like, and so I'm driving a better car in school than my teachers. By 12th grade, I got 2 cars. I got a Cherokee, I got a motorcycle, and I got a Maxima. So you gotta imagine how they look at me like, yo, who is this nigga? But I still have to say,
dog food, man. Dog food was jumping, man. The dog food was jumping, man. Go ahead, though, man. Go ahead,
like what I'm saying. So, you know, I remember they had a college fair, and then the guy came, he was speaking, and he's telling everybody, you know, you gotta go to school, blah blah blah. And at that time, I remember him saying something like, this is mid-90s. He's like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and you're going to graduate, you're going to come out with this good job, and you're going to make $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and you're going to retire at 60. And I'm listening like, I have no desire. Like, I want to make $40,000, $50,000 a week. Like that's what I'm inspiring to be. So what I love about DJing, DJing allowed me to still live the fast life that the street guys live. So it was an easy transition because, you know, by the time I graduated high school, recipes to my pops, who really got me into DJing, you know, I become the biggest DJ in East Baltimore at the time. So back then, the East and West side didn't get along. So if you was the East side DJ, you couldn't mix over West. So my whole goal as a DJ was to be the biggest DJ that I can mix anywhere. So I remember the first time I did a party on West side, you know, I'm still thinking street. I grab my guys. I'm like, yo, I don't know how this shit gonna end, but we gotta go over there prepared, if you know what I mean. Because this shit can go left fast. And, you know, I went over there. It was crazy because I got nothing but love. Nothing but love. And one of my OGs that really, you know, schooled me in the game, he opened up a club called Club Indigo back then. And they hired me to DJ. And that, well, like, that's when my life changed because that's when I was like, yo, this DJing shit, if I take this serious,
you get a
like,
bag.
I can still get the bag. I can still live the fast life with the cars and the girls. I can do all that. But now I might not end up in the box or the box. And if you know what I mean, it's 2 boxes.
You want me to do one of them, especially the second one.
That one or that one, either one. So
Yeah.
I'm like, this shit. And then I just started going hard with DJing, man. And, you know, it's crazy because 2001 was a pivotal year for me because, you know, by 2001, I started really DJing. And by the time I'm doing clubs and I'm doing a bunch of everything. Now I'm coming to DC, DJing in DC at, you know, DC Live and doing so much stuff. And I remember that year, that was the first year I got my first big radio deal. There was a radio station in Baltimore called X1057. And I remember all my OGs saying, when you start getting some real legal money, first thing you gotta do is buy a house, so you can have something to fall back on and invest. So you know me, I listen. I go buy me a house. I settled on my house on Tuesday. That Friday, I got fired. Lost everything, and I took all the money that I saved up to buy this house. And back then, I ain't know nothing about saving, investing. You know, I was making so much money as it came in, it was going right back out because in my mind, I'm getting it back the next day or the next weekend, whatever. But when I bought the house, I wasn't prepared. So I had a savings and checking account. Like my savings might have had $3 and my check was at zero. I was broke. And immediately your first instance, like, I might as well just go back left.
Right, yeah.
Cause that's it's a net. But I'm like, I know if I think about that nigga, I know where this shit in. By this time, all my cousins is going to jail, getting 20 years, 30. I'm like, or my niggas is going to die. I'm like, nah, this ain't it. Like, you gotta get focused on this DJ shit. You have to. Like, it's gonna be life changing. And if you remember back then, I was on the radio with Lil Mo at the time. And the same year that X1057 went out of business, she had an album dropping. Right. And she was like, quick, I remember her calling me, and I'm in my house depressed because I'm thinking I'm going to lose my house. I don't know what I'm going to do next. And she called me like maybe a week after the station folded. And she was like, what you ready to do, bro? I'm like, shit, nigga, I'm bored. Like, I'm down. Nigga, I'm trying to figure my next move, my next play. And she was like, I'm ready to go on tour with my promo album. You want to go with me? I was like, fuck yeah, nigga. I ain't doing shit. But that tour changed it, because from that tour, I went on a promo tour with her. 3 months later, Jay-Z and 50 Cent announced the Rock the Mic tour. They want Lil Mo and Fab. They called me the DJ. So I don't know if you knew, I DJ on the whole Rock the Mic tour, 30 plus cities. Jay, 50, Busta, Missy, Fab, and Lil Mo. And I'm the DJ. And I remember DJing that tour. Then that tour opened up a ton of tours. Then I did the Seagram's tour, signed with Pepsi. But then after I finished touring, by that time I was a national name, and I kept saying I can't go back to Baltimore because now I'm too big, and plus if I go back to Baltimore, I'm gonna start getting in trouble. I want to go to a major market that I can really come and own my skills and become like a big DJ. I'm like, I don't want to move to New York. I ain't trying to go down south. I thought about moving to Atlanta at the time, but so many niggas was flooding Atlanta in them late 90s, early 2000s. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go fuck with DC.
So that tour was it strengthened your resume?
Definitely strengthened, because now I went from being this local DJ in Baltimore to a national name.
So you on tour with them names you just named. Was it nights that 50 outshined Jay outshined 50, or was it
try to get me in trouble, man?
Hey, look, they competitive.
No, the real shit, like I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. At that point, Jay and 50, they were cordial, but they wasn't tight. Right. But that's when 50 was wild. 50, he super rich now. Right. Yeah. So he done toned it all. He's still 50, but he toned it down a lot. Right. But back then, that's when Wankster first came out, and he was still straight out the streets. Right. Yeah. So I remember it been times where 50 would play before Jay, and Jay would always close the show out. But it got to a point where, midway through the tour, 50 started blowing up. Right. Like, and the club was out. Like, this nigga was big business. Right. So I remember times it would be his it'd be time for his set to be over. Right. And 50 be like, man, fuck that, I ain't getting on stage. What, Jay gonna come beat me up? I'm like, oh shit, this shit ready to go sour, fast. Yeah. Like, let me start packing my shit up before the fucking guns start coming out this motherfucker. So But it never was no shit with them. Right, it was always like a friendly beef. It's like, you got this and I got this, and it's like playing football. Right, yeah. We both want to win the Super Bowl, and we're gonna talk shit, and I want to kill you on the field. Right, yeah. But afterwards, let's go have a drink.
And both of them put pressure on each other to come strong every night. I can imagine that.
But I'm gonna tell you the crazy part. Busta.
I think gonna say Busta.
Oh my God.
I think gonna say Busta.
Like Jay and 50, they were the headliners of the tour. But Busta and Missy? Right, yeah. Like, have you seen Busta perform? Yeah. Busta, hands down, to me, if he's not the greatest, he's one of the greatest hip-hop performers of all time. Right, yeah. And I'll say that on record against anybody. We can argue if you want. Right. Like, until you see him live, his live show is unfucking believable. Energy. So Busta would kill it. But Missy and Busta, if you think they're kind of the same artists, there's female and male.
Yeah, the same energy.
A lot of energy, a lot of props, a lot of, crowd response where they say something, the crowd said back. Man, Busta's live performance as a DJ. If I call myself the party kingpin because I'm a DJ and a personality. Right. But a lot of that shit that I talk my shit on the mic and learn how to set up, I remember just watching Busta every night, and he would say something and command the crowd. And I was like, nah, I can't wait to DJ somewhere and try that shit. Right. And then I would try it and it would work. Right. So, do you ever have an experience? Because you always hear when artists coming up, especially they got like a street entourage, they try to lean on the DJ. They're forcing to play music. Did you ever experience any of that when people try to muscle you or attempt it? I ain't trying to sound tough, but nah. But when I was coming up young, niggas knew what my family was, so ain't nobody tried me. Right. But even once I started touring and got big, I always, you know, I say if you know, you know.
Right.
Like, you know,
They can sense
I just move different. Like,
Right.
I never move like no. I never
Right,
move
yeah.
scary. I
Right,
never move
right.
like
Yeah.
I just wasn't no bitch.
They can sense your
So
energy.
like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
nigga, like it's
Right.
like going in the joint. Like
Right, yeah.
a nigga know first day if he gonna take his shoes or not.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And like it just you
Right,
just
okay.
know. So like
Okay.
you know
Okay.
niggas show me love. You know, of course since I've been DJing, I done had niggas in the club pull up trying to play my song, but it ain't never been like play my song, I'm going upside your head.
Right, yeah.
We can tough it out how you want to tough it out.
Right.
Like, so.
And you can't, like you said, you can't, as you move to DC, you want to be in the big market,
Mm-hmm.
but you still be close to home. What's some of the misconceptions that a DC person have about Baltimore and a Baltimore person have about DC?
That's a great question, man. I would say we both, cause at this point I'm saying we, cause I consider myself from Baltimore, but DC is home.
Right.
So when I say we, I'm talking Baltimore and DC. Right. We both think that we're slick. Like in our mind, Baltimore dudes are the slickest niggas in the world.
Right.
In DC mind, y'all the slickest niggas in the world.
Right.
Like, you know, I remember watching Paid in Full and him saying DC, like DC zip.
Right.
Like, you know, DC was always just had their own style, their own swag about it. And so is Baltimore. Yeah. So I think the biggest misconception is that like we never liked each other. Mm-hmm. It was like an underlying, and it's still now. You know, I always say once a year this whole DMV conversation come up, where Twitter goes viral. Right. Baltimore not a part of the DMV, and you got to be like nigga. Like DMV is a term that people made up just to I don't know. Right. Like that shit. Once a year, people arguing on Twitter what the DMV means. Right. Yeah. But I always say, if you really from DC, you never heard a DC nigga say I'm from DMV. Right. Where you from? Right. You're DC. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Well, if I talk to any of my OG nigga, we from DC. That DMV shit. That's some shit that some Maryland and Virginia dudes made up to put us together. So like. And that's why it's always weird to me when you hear the whole DMV shit and people argue that Baltimore not DMV. It's like, come on, my nigga, like. Yeah. It's a part of Maryland,
right? Yeah, and it's weird because, like you said, when you come with so much pride with your city. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But now that I got older, like the last probably 10 or 15 years, I look at it different now because with the gentrification, a lot of DC migrated.
They live in Maryland.
Even back then, it was people from DC that did well, had good jobs, and still moved to DC, right? So I look at it a whole lot different. But you're right though. But people from my generation and back, it's still dudes to the day. Tell me, man, why you keep on saying DMV?
Nigga, DC is nothing. DC is nothing.
Yeah, right.
We don't play. But here's the funny part. That's how Baltimore is.
Right. Yeah.
Baltimore ain't never said I want to be part of DMV.
Right. Yeah.
Nigga, we from Baltimore. Like you ain't never heard a nigga from Bmore say from DMV. Right. Yeah. You ain't never heard a nigga from DC say from DMV. Right. Ever. Right. The niggas who claim DMV, 99% of them are from Maryland and Virginia.
Right. Yeah.
So like that's why when that argument always come up every year, real DC and real Baltimore niggas, we be on the sideline. Right. Listen, it's a bunch of Maryland and Virginia dudes arguing about who's a part of the DMV. We're a part, but that part isn't. Like, man, get the fuck out of here.
It's amazing how people argue about the cities like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, but since we on it though now, who started the New Balance now?
Oh man,
you started the New Balance, man.
I thought we were having a friendly conversation here, man. So this is what I will say.
Okay.
If you ask me, I'm from Baltimore, I'm going to say Baltimore started New Balance.
Right.
And I remember when that shit was, another viral moment. I think Big G had posted like a video, a picture or something from like the 70s, some niggas with New Balance on.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Baltimore because I'm supposed to say that.
Right, yeah.
I'm supposed to say that. In case a nigga from Baltimore like, that's fucked up. You fucking Kurt Bone. You fucking them DC nigga. All right, they're already going to let me have it, right?
Yeah.
So
Baltimore, look, they show, don't lose your thought, but Baltimore showed me a lot of love. Like, my olive ribbon, like, my ribbon, man, Baltimore really showed love. So shout out. Yeah. Shout out to Baltimore, man. But we still start New Balance, though. But go ahead,
this is what I would say. If y'all started New Balance,
okay, go ahead.
And this is what niggas don't realize, y'all, I don't know who started New Balance. I'm going to say Baltimore.
Right, yeah.
But what I can say without a doubt, and I'm speaking this is facts. This ain't us going back and forth on Twitter or the blog. Right. Baltimore made Nike Air Force Ones hot. Okay. And I know this for a fact because Nike told us this. So what people don't know, me and my partner Sean Caesar, we in with DTLR, which is the #1 urban retailer in the world.
We're gonna get him on his bench.
That's my OG.
Yeah.
And I remember we had this argument. I was talking to Jim Jones. They're like, yo, no, nigga, Air Force One, that's a New York thing.
Right.
And I remember Nike came out and Nike said this, like, this is public information. Right. So don't take Quicksilva's word. Do your due diligence, your research. Right. Because everybody's wearing Nike Air Force Ones, right? And then they got to a point where Air Force Ones, they weren't selling like that. So Nike, they were going to stop making Air Force Ones. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, Charlie Rudo's, if you remember, all the stores up there. Mm-hmm. What was the other one? Cinderella's. What the fuck is other stores? There's a bunch of stores, but all those stores back then, they had promised Nike, like, don't do it. Let's do a big run in Baltimore and see if we can sell them out. And that run literally saved Air Force One. And this is, once again, I know people are going to debate it on social because they don't know any better. Right. But these are facts. Right. Call Nike. Yeah. Nike put a statement out saying, and then they came out with, I'm telling you, last year, I can't remember if it was a 30 or 40 year, but whatever year it was, they came out with a Baltimore edition to thank Baltimore for saving Air Force One. So when we had a New Balance conversation, that's where I'm going with this. Right. Is that the New Balance one we can argue. Right. We can argue. There's no facts that can say on this day you had it first. Right, yeah. But what I can say, the facts from Nike, Baltimore saved Air Force One. Okay. So Nike Air Force Ones, the all white on whites, that's a Baltimore thing. I mean, Nike has come out and they were like, other cities might have worn them, but Baltimore's who saved them and made us keep making them. Okay, all right, let me touch on that right there. Right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So I'm gonna say this. These are facts. So I'm gonna say the Baltimore, y'all saved them. I don't know, but saved them mean they probably was already up, but y'all kept them alive. Right, they kept them alive. Y'all gave CPR. Right, so they were about to go out of business. Nike wasn't going out of business. So if I was they were discontinued the Air Force Ones. So if I was a New York guy, I'd say y'all saved them, but we brand them. Right. So New York might have worn them and started them first, but they wasn't buying them.
I'm just being devil advocate.
Right, which is fine. They wasn't buying them enough to keep the lights on for that shoe. For that one shoe, not Nike as a whole. For that shoe, right. So Nike was making the high tops, and at that time you had the high top with the strap. Right. And they're making tons of shoes. Right. But the all white on white Air Force One, Nike literally said, because of Baltimore, we're going to continue making them. Right. And that's a fact. And anybody from New York, y'all can argue until you say word to mother, B. Okay. There ain't nothing you can do about it. That's a fact from Nike. Right. And before I go to New Balance, real fast on Nike, I'm not questioning at all. But this might be a little small, 90% fact, right? Or this is Nike or the Nike Joe, right? Like this probably 90% fashion, man. But from being there, Georgetown before Michael Jordan even started wearing the A's and all that, whatever. Niggas wearing Adidas and all that other stuff. When them wearing them Nikes, put them Nikes on a national joint, falls on the basketball joint, where everybody started wearing them hoods, right? So I'm gonna say that for just to throw a little DC shot in there, right? But those wasn't all white on white Air Force. Yeah, no, I ain't talking Air Force. I'm just saying the whole building, the organ. Right. I'm talking about organ, right? On the basketball side, right? Definitely. Yeah, I just wanted to sneak that back in there, right? Absolutely, I give you props for that.
But on the New Balance joke, though, we were doing that since 1982, right? And if you talk a few Baltimore, my men up there that's of age. When we talk about I don't want to throw them under the bus, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, but they can speak. That's why I said online or that's it. But let's talk to y'all older dudes that's around that age that was wearing it, which ain't no thing though, because I ain't got no stock in New Balance. It's a friendly fire, right? It's friendly competition. But I just wanted to get that touch on the joint, right? 106 in Park.
How I got that shot, I once again in Washington, D.C. Park at 14th. That's been my longest running residency in my career. So when you think of a DJ, most DJs, if you play at the club, you're there for a year, 3, 5 years if you tops. I've been at Park, shout out to Mark Barnes, partners on Fridays for the last 14, almost 15 years. Right. I say all to say the segue in 106 in Park. That's why I love DC so much, because DC is such a melting pot of important people. You think of major markets, a lot of times if there's concerts, sometimes they bypass people when they go straight to DC, to New York, and Houston, Atlanta, all the big markets. Right. So Terrence Clayton is his name. I remember one day I'm DJing at Park, and Terrence Clayton, didn't know him at the time, he comes to me, and my tagline is the party kingpin, and I don't DJ, I perform. So if you ever seen me perform live, Like I really put on a show. I talk, I do crowd response, I mix scratch, all in one. I'm my own host. I don't need to hype. I don't need any. I'm a one-man show. Right. So I'm rocking Park.
Talk that shit, man.
I ain't talking shit.
Though,
good shit, right? These are all facts.
That's right.
These are all facts.
I watch your page, so yeah, that's right.
So Terrence Clayton comes to Park one Friday, and this is when business cards was hot. He came to me, was like, man, I ain't really seen a DJ outside of New York like talk and mix like you. Like, you know, if you think of DJs, even some of the biggest DJs in the 80s, 90s, you know, you had a DJ, then you had a host on the mic. Right. You're like, you know, are you hosting and DJing and you doing like, you're like, you ever thought about doing TV? Right. I was like, nah, man. He's like, well, here's my business card. Give me a call. I control the talent for BET 106 in Park. And this was a new show at the time. Right. So I ain't call him because I thought it was somebody bullshit. You know, in this industry, niggas industry talk so much. This thing
that's that Baltimore DC mentality. Niggas
like,
faking.
This probably some intern nigga made up a business card. I ain't calling nigga. So 2 weeks later, he comes back. And he like, yo, you ain't call me, man. I'm trying to get you to come on BET 106 in Park. I like, I'm gonna call you Monday. I'm still thinking he bluffing. I know I'm gonna call him, and it's the number you've reached do not exist. So I call him. He like, yo, how soon can you get to New York? We film on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I like, shit, nigga, I be there tomorrow. So I hop on the train, go to New York. I go there. At the time, this is before Biles. I'm trying to think who was hosting. This is right after Roxy. I mean, this is after Freaking Ages. This was Terrence Day and Roxy. Okay. Terrence Day and Roxy had just took over 106 in Park. Okay. So I go up there and I walk in and it hit me like, oh shit, nigga, like this really BET. This is a real studio. Right. So I go in there. He like, all right, here's your cue. You're gonna open the show. You're gonna do this. So I do it. And in my mind, I thought I did good. Right. But afterwards, he gave me like a, you know, good job. I'll be in touch. If you know anybody in the industry, I'll be in touch means I'm never calling. So I'm like, that whole train ride back, I'm beating myself up. Like, damn, I must have played the wrong shit. I ain't have enough energy. I must have stuttered. Like, I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? So like a week or two go by and I don't hear from him. And I'm like, yeah, that was, you know, at least I did it once. I got off my bucket list. And then he called me like 2 weeks later. Was like, quick, yo, if we like locked you in, could you come to New York once a week? I'm like, first I say, yo, it's crazy you calling me back. I thought like I fucked up. He said, nah, we've been busy. We already had people scheduled. You know, I'm in to call you back. You're like, nah, we need you to come once a week. We're gonna lock you in. And that one time turned to like, I was on there for 4 or 5 seasons. I can't think how many years that was. But that came from DJing at Park. And that was another life-changing thing because from DJing in 106 in Park, I would go to New York once a week and then shout out to my man Big Theo, Hollywood Chuck, a lot of the promoters in New York at the time, and they still promote. They started locking me in for parties in New York. Shout out my guy DJ Self. You know, I met him. We locked in, and it was crazy to see. Like, you know, now I'm DJing in DC on the regular. I'm DJing in New York on the regular, and I'm just every month building my resume, and you know, 106 Park was dope, man.
And you came down here and made such a splash, and I don't want to put no pressure on your checks, right?
No, you good.
But I gotta ask this. You had the tunnel, DC tunnel, which was legendary.
Absolutely.
DC Live, which was legendary.
Facts.
But only one of them can go up top of the other one. In that Hall of Fame, which joint go on top?
On top of DC Live and Tunnel?
Yeah. What's Mark joint? I'm saying, Mark.
Oh, Live. I'm not Live. That's my Love. Dream.
Love. DC Live. Which one go 1, 2?
Oh, Love. Nothing like Love.
Nothing like Love.
Nothing like Love. But Dream. Let's call it. Let's go back to the day when it was Dream first. Then it turned to Love. DC Live was a monster. I remember first when I played there, I never seen a mega club with 5 levels, 10 DJs. Like I never seen shit like that. But Dream changed the face of nightlife in America. Like, this is what people don't know. Dream was one of the top grossing nightclubs in America for years. Like, Dream literally redefined how mega clubs operate. Mark Barnes, this is why I call him the GOAT, and I've worked with everybody. Alex in Atlanta, David Grootman in Miami, all the big dog, not the promoters, the big boss. So when Dream came, you know, Dream had all the Dream had damn near the East Coast coming.
Right.
Like DC Live was big. And you had a lot of people come from other places, but Dream was almost 90% tourists.
Right.
You had people coming from
just to come to
everywhere.
Dreams. Right.
New York to Atlanta. People were flying to DC every Friday. Like Dream Friday was something that like the world had, 'cause back then it wasn't Live in Miami yet. It wasn't a mega club where everybody was going and all the celebrities. And not just that, that's when Mark Barnes brought the celebrity. Right. Like, I mean, everybody had been a Dream, from Jay-Z to the president to Beyonce. Like, you know, you wasn't.
Workhorse. He putting sand on the ground with others on Republican.
And that's what Mark did. Like, you know, Mark, you know, he started, you know, Quigley's and Republican. But by the time he got the Dream, you know, that's what I learned from Mark was he never spared an expense.
Yeah, shortchanged nothing.
He did it and did it the best. But this one I'm gonna fuck your head up at. Dream, you know, Dream and Love, whatever you want to call it, depending on how old you are. That was the club that, like, you know, that was DC royalty. DC Live was big, you know, Platinum was big, Rich was big. But the club for me, that made Quicksilva like the guy in DC, and niggas don't give it enough credit because it wasn't around as long as the Dreams and stuff. Do you know what it was?
No, because I'm thinking you a little young, so I wasn't going to say that, so I couldn't have been a Rich. You young for that.
Nah. The club that made me the guy. So I'm gonna tell you the first two clubs that really like gave me a big check. It was Zanzibar and H2O, right? Those are two clubs that like really Foot, Mr. Green and Abdul, my OGs. Those are the first two clubs that really like saw my vision to be a party rocker and really hired me to like perform.
Do your thing.
But the club that, I ain't gonna say it didn't make me, but the club that when I came to town, Ibiza.
Oh yeah,
Ibiza was like a bat out of hell. And Mark Barnes hate when I say this because I think, you know, me and Mark been partners for 20 plus years, from Republic to Dream to Park. But Ibiza, because the run was short. You got to think Ibiza was only open 4 or 5 years, and the run when it was at its peak was only like 2 years, 3 years tops. It was short. Shout out to Eric Clean and Demo, because they were the promoters and owners at the time. But long story short, Ibiza was the club, and I know Mark will kill me. He said, "Nigga, don't say that shit again." It hurt Dream because you got to think Dream was the king on Fridays for 10 years. Dream to Love, everybody was going 3,000-4,000 people. I remember the night we did the grand opening in Ibiza. It was me and Kim Kardashian. And what Ibiza did differently than every club that we mentioned, from Rich to everything, Ibiza brought the show. So Dream was big, and you had, and all those clubs were big, but Ibiza was the first club that I can remember that brought that Miami Vegas style club to DC. Like when you had a DJ, a light man, effects man, you had go-go dancers. I remember coming my first night at Ibiza, it screens in the club that says, "Welcome to Ibiza, Quicksilva performing live." Like, it was like some shit you had never seen. Like, nobody, I remember people walking into Ibiza the first time saying, "I feel like I'm in fucking Vegas." Like, the lights, the confetti coming out of there. Everything that Liv has in Miami, Ibiza brought that to DC. And DC had never seen that. Like, you had mega clubs, you had big go-go's, but you had never seen a club where the DJ was like the focal point. Because up until that, think of all the clubs we named, from Ritz to DC Live to, I mean, Love to Dream to H2O to, I mean, you name all those big clubs. Back then, the DJ was always important, but the DJ booth was always somewhere small in the corner. It was, you know, right here in that, and up in the sky right there where nobody can see it. Ibiza was the first club to put the DJ the focal point of the club. I mean, I was 20 feet in the air by a 50-foot long booth with me, a sound man, and a light guy. And I'm DJing. If you pull up some old YouTubes, I'm DJing. I'm like, all right, turn the lights out. And the lights go out. When I count to three, the whatever, 3, 2, 1, then the smoke come out there. I mean, like, it was a real show.
It was part of the
and I remember that's the club that made every promoter in DC that wasn't fucking with me, because I was from Baltimore, whatever, they had a favorite DJ. I remember promoters would come there and be like, "Nigga, I need you to do that at my club. What you're doing at the Bees, because we've never seen a DJ control the crowd like that.
Right.
And I can't do that because y'all don't have
all the special
you don't have the effects.
Right.
Y'all have put me in a little ass booth in the corner.
Right.
Like, quick, put on the show. You're gonna be in a little ass booth with a mic. Like, nigga, where's my light man?
Right.
Where's my effect? Where's my dancers? Where's my And still to this day, a lot of clubs don't get that. That's why Vegas is Vegas. That's why Miami is Miami. It's not just the DJs playing good music. It's a show. It's an event. I'm hoping that more owners will watch this and be like, he's right. Like, we're missing the show because right now it's all about table service. That's all promoters and owners care about. They don't care who's dancing, having fun. It's how many people can pop bottles and have a cool sign that says, hey, I got more money than Quick and Kirk. That's all they care about. But Ibiza was about the party. It was about having fun and people leaving there dripping sweat because you had so much fun. I miss the mega clubs in DC. Right now, mega clubs, I mean, outside of Park, it's really no mega clubs. All the big clubs, the popping clubs are 200-300 people.
C3W, what is that? Explain that.
Come on, the world's fastest growing wrestling league. Shout out to my partners, Casino and Rich, man. Black-owned wrestling league. You know, a lot of us watched wrestling growing up, WWF, WWE. And I always was a fan of wrestling. But I'm in the business now of making my money make money for me. I learned that from a lot of my, investors and accountants, but my OGs. Like, you get to a point where you make a lot of money, but do you want to work until you die? Because if not, if you don't make your money work for you, eventually you'll work until you die because you're working. You got to maintain your lifestyle and pay your bills and maintain your staff. So with C3W, shout out to Casino and Rich again, but when I remember KC, I call him KC, we got a bunch of businesses, real estate shit that we do together. But when he first brought the idea to me, I'm like, wrestling, nigga, nobody watches wrestling anymore.
Somebody hit my ear and say, man, he got too much motherfucking jewelry, cars, and DJ. So y'all got the answer right there, man. It's loud as I'm going. Go ahead, though, man.
So I'm, he brought it to my attention. I'm like, nobody watch wrestling anymore. I don't watch wrestling. He's like, nigga, you don't watch it, but wrestling is still a $1 billion industry, not million. $1 billion industry. So now, me, I'm addicted to money and power. So now I start researching, what WWE is and WWF and how the owners took this and how much money is in wrestling. And when I really research it, then I start doing my research. Like, yo, these places still selling out arenas. Like in this year, like if one of those big leagues came, they sell out the arena to 30,000 people. So I'm like, yo, they're still fans. So once I realized that, it was a no-brainer for me because I'm like, nigga, anything that I can invest in that I know it's a win-win, where it's kind of foolproof because I've made so many bad investments. I've done so much shit where I let the hype get to me and I lost money, or I jumped too fast and didn't do my homework and my due diligence. But C3W, I'm telling you now, if you don't know what it is definitely going to be black owned. Well, it's already black owned, but it's going to be one of the fastest growing wrestling leagues. We're growing at a rate right now where every show we throw is sold out. We just sponsored the Cannabis Festival when it came to DC. That's our big thing now, is just marketing and getting people to know what we are. And the hopes of it, I'm not going to say hopes, I'm speaking to existence. The goal of it is to get picked up by a major network soon. So we're already working on that. We already, of course, be filming, and we already shot all of our recaps, and we got all our fights. So we've already been pitching it. And we've gotten some offers, but it's bullshit offers. It's an offer that a nigga with no money would take fast. But when you know your value, you can turn down $1 because you know the big money is coming up soon. So hopefully sooner than later.
Right, you did something I was really impressed with, man. You did a lot of things, accolades, well, especially making money, but the DJ school. How'd that come in your brain? What made you put that together?
Quick and Easy DJs is the name of my school. So right now I have a location in Baltimore. I have a location in DC. My location in DC is on MLK in Southeast. I'm one in Baltimore, is in Woodlawn. Prayerfully in the next few months, I have one in Virginia as well. So I found a building that I'm gonna get and open one in Virginia. But the reason why I started, shout out to my partner DJ Be Easy. That's why it's called Quick and Easy DJ. So Quicksilva, Be Easy. But the reason why I started, I've been talking about it for years to myself and to my wife Ashley. Like, I really want to start a school just to give back, and really save the culture of DJing. And when I started realizing over the last, I'm gonna say 10 years, a lot of the art of DJing has been lost. A lot of these guys really can't DJ. Some of your big names that's your big DJ in the club in your city, they can't count bars. Like, they don't know what BPMs are. They don't know how to mix and scratch. They literally play a record, hit a horn, and go to the next record.
Right.
And they start, hold on, motherfucker, everybody, hey. And they play like they can't DJ. You couldn't put them in a DJ competition against Quicksilva because like they don't have a skill set. So when I start realizing I'm traveling all these places and all these big cities, and a lot of these DJs, they really don't have they have a name and they play the right records, but they can't DJ. I'm like, nigga, I really got to do something to save the culture of DJing, because if I don't, in the next 10 years, how I came up DJing, that way of DJing will be gone. So my partner Easy here started doing like classes and little boot camps, and that kind of put the battery in my back, because I've been talking about it for years and years, but I had so much other shit going on. I just never had the time to find the building and get the curriculum and do all that. So he had started like a boot camp, and I saw him. I'm like, you know what? I called him. I said, dude, I see what you're doing boot camp. Like I said, let's partner and really do this shit right. Like let's do it right. Let's patent it. Let's start a business and let's start opening up multiple locations, because this is a school. You know what I mean? You know, cities give grants for schools. Anything that saves young people really pay attention to. So I started it really just to save the culture of DJing. But what I love most about it is that my youngest student was 12. My oldest was 69. So, you know, right now, I'm structuring it more now where I can kind of break it up. But right now, it's all ages, which I love, because
I kind of like that.
I love it because you got a 14-year-old in class with somebody that's 40. And they're kind of inspiring each other, because as a 40-year-old, you don't want this little young nail shine you. And as a 14 or 15-year-old, I don't want to look like the kid where I don't know what I'm doing. So Arn shopping Arn.
Both of them understand,
and they understand each other.
Music at times,
and what I love about it, is I'm really teaching the fundamentals of DJing. If you study hip hop, you know, DJing is the most important element of hip hop. You got DJ, the MC, breakdance, and graffiti. But if you study hip hop, the lifestyle and the culture, not rap music. Hip hop and rap are two different things. When you study hip hop, you know, it started off as a DJ. Shout out to Kool Herc in the Bronx. The goal of the MC, which is the master of ceremony, had one job. That was to hype up the DJ. And as he hyped the DJ up, the people would be dancing, break dancing, while the B-boys doing graffiti. Over the years, the MC has turned into a rapper, and rap has taken over hip hop. But for me, the DJ is still the most important piece. So that's why this was personal to me. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about any of that. It was really just making people realize without the DJ, there's no nothing. Right now, you can have the biggest celebrity in your club, the biggest everything, popping all the bottles. If Quicksilva press stop and walks out, the party's over. The end. So you know, that's the power of the DJ.
I look up one day, man, and I see Quicksilva on a reality show.
Oh man, me drinking some water before
a reality show, man.
That wasn't anything. That wasn't God's plan, but it wasn't in my plan.
Man, give the people the name of the reality show, and how did Quicksilva get on a reality show, and your wife with you? So, shout out to your wife, your beautiful wife too,
Ashley,
man.
The name of the show is Love and Marriage DC. Shout out to Oprah Winfrey. He's on Oprah's own network. Carlos King of Ring Entertainment is the guy who had the brainchilds behind it. But this wasn't planned. So what a lot of people don't know, you know, I've done TV. I've done 106. I've done other TV shows, but I always was in control of whatever I was on TV. I had no idea, or I had no interest of doing reality TV. To me, I never watched reality TV. That shit was for women. Like we went home watching Love. That's not what we was. So I never watched reality TV, but I heard about it, of course. I heard about the Love and Hip Hop, all that type of shit. But what people don't know, Real Housewives had reached out to my wife a few years ago to do Real Housewives of Potomac. You know, it didn't happen for a number of reasons. But I was so against. I'm like, we're not doing reality TV. That shit break up marriages. It's corny. All they want to do is argue and who can spill the most tea and like that. That's not me. I'm not doing that shit, and I don't need it. Like I'm already popular. I already got money. What am I doing it for? So, and I know she wanted to do it because you know it was a check and it would help her with her brand, and she has a book out now called Do That Shit. So I knew she had a vision of why she wanted to do reality TV. So that didn't work out. Fast forward, we get a call from Carlos King that they're doing a show called Love and Marriage DC. So, you know, we have a conference, Zoom call with him at the time, and he's selling us on what it is. And my team, they was like, absolutely not, Quick. You're not doing reality TV because reality TV is for two people. It's the people who need money or somebody that's old, that was hot,
trying to relight
and
the
they
fire.
trying to relight the fire.
Right.
Like, this can do more damage than it can do good for you.
Right.
Like, what, is it worth it?
Right.
And the reason why I even considered it is because my wife, I'll be honest. That's the honest to God answer. Is like,
real boss spoke.
The real boss. I was it wasn't like, baby, you got to do it.
Right, yeah, I understand.
It was like, I know what this can do with the brand that I'm trying to build.
Right.
And I've always been there for you. Nigga, that's been my ride now for 20 years. So she's like, let's try it and at least see what it does. Let's try and see what it does. If we don't like it, we ain't locked in for life. We can quit or we can whatever, walk away after season. And we did season 1. It was definitely some drama and bullshit on there.
Right.
I quickly learned that, especially with social media, social media, Twitter, they're brutal. They got an opinion about everything.
Right.
We call them the peanut gang. They got an opinion about everything.
Right.
You got to have thick skin to be on reality TV. Because you got a lot of people that don't know you that just form opinions. And what you got to realize, we film 5 days a week, 8, 9, 10 hours a day for a scene that's 2 minutes.
Right, yeah.
So, you got people that pass judgment on who they think you are and what you should have did or what you did do, not knowing that, that was 2 minutes out of 24 hours of my day.
Right.
So, that was the hard part for me, is just realizing that, it is reality, but some of this stuff is just like, it's heightened for TV.
Right, yeah.
At the end of the day, we got to have a good show that people watch.
Right.
And I think, when I say the pros and cons, for me, especially by now season 2, now that I've learned on what not to say, because this is why I tell with reality TV, anything you say is like court.
Right, yeah.
We use against you.
We'll use against you, right.
And you can't be like, I ain't say that. Like,
right.
they're going to run the tape like, actually, you ain't say that, Kirk? Well, here's Kirk saying, I fucking hate Quick.
Right, yeah.
Like, God damn, I did say that. My bad. I was drunk when I...
Right.
But now what happens is, when you say something or do something, you got, not just the guys in the camera, you got people, 10 people in the ears like, oh my God, let's harp on that.
Right, yeah.
Let's stay there for a minute.
Right.
So now you might have felt some type of way today, but I don't feel it way tomorrow. Like, I got a ton of it. But now we got to follow that.
Right.
Because you brought it up on TV.
Right, yeah.
So, by season 2, you learn to like, me watch what I say.
Right, yeah.
Because anytime I'm mic'd up,
right.
anything I say, they hear every fucking thing.
Right, yeah.
So, that's how we ended up on reality TV. We're on season 2 right now. We're actually on mid-break. It comes back on. So, episode 1 through 10 already came on. Episodes 11 through 21, they're already done. I think we come back on the end of June and beginning of July. But I had no reality TV just wasn't my thing.
Sure.
Like, I mean, I don't want to say it still ain't my thing, but like, I'm doing it now more, to support my wife, and and it has helped. What I will say with TV that's different from radio and everything else that I've done. Quicksilva has been a household name, popular for decades. Radio makes you popular. Social media makes you popular. TV makes you famous.
Right, yeah.
It's a big difference.
Right.
So since doing TV, I've definitely noticed a big difference. So now I can't go to the airport without people wanting pictures. If I walk into the supermarket, it's pandemonium.
Right.
But for me, it's like, for some people that excites them. For me, if I ain't getting the extra check go off that, like,
it don't mean a whole lot.
I've been a center of attention for years.
Exactly.
So for people that are new to reality, and some people just want to show now, they feed into it.
Right.
Because this is new to them. I've never been trending. I never, like, for me, people get excited when they trend. I don't give a fuck, because I didn't make no money off that.
Got it. The businessman, you kick in.
I'm a businessman first through 10.
Right.
So
okay. And I'm ask you a couple of questions about some people before I go to this. Shout out to Raina. My man Jamie,
the Tylers, we call them the Tylers.
Tyler. We gonna get them up here. We try and get the dates together.
Absolutely,
y'all doing y'all thing. Shout out to them, definitely, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say some names. I want you to give me whatever comes to your mind about your opinion about them. Charlemagne the God.
It's the first word I think of. Even though I know people say a lot of negative stuff about him, the dude has created his own lane, and right now he's one of the most powerful people in media.
Bad boy,
so whether you like him or hate him, you gotta respect him.
You gotta respect him.
That nigga's powerful right now.
Kevin Lau.
That's my OG. I mean, that nigga raised me. Me. I mean, when I say raised me, he literally raised me in the industry. That's been my guy. He's from Baltimore.
Right.
So Kevin Lyles has raised me from a pup in the industry and teaching me how to read deals and how to structure my shit and how to negotiate. He one of the first people told me, "Quick, you never get what you deserve. You get when you negotiate." I said that when I first walked in here, but I got that from him.
Right.
You never get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate.
Right.
And he taught me this, which is so important. The music business is that. It's a business. Right. It's 10% music, 90% business. So the reason why a lot of people never make it, because they think just because the music and their talent, if you don't have the business end of it, you get looked over every time. Try to kill house.
Damon Dash.
Damon Dash, flashy. But Dame another one.
Right.
Business wise, you can feel how you want to feel about him now. But what Rockefeller did, as my man Biggs always said, redo 96. What Rockefeller did with Dame, Biggs, and Jay, how can you not respect it?
Tank Davis.
That's the home team. Matter of fact, that's the face of boxing.
Right. Okay.
Floyd might not. Well, Floyd can agree to it now because he retired. But Tank is our generation's Floyd. Whatever generation you was, if it was Tyson or whatever. That today, the now. Boxing is Gervonta Tank Davis.
Real fast before we run out of time, what would you like to say to the youth in Baltimore and DC, because both cities off the chain?
Man.
What advice would you give them?
First thing I'm gonna say is, and it sounds cliche when I say it, but I mean it. Never let where you come from dictate where you're going, and never let what you've been through in your life dictate your outcome. I'm a walking testimony, literally, that you can make it. And you can go through shit. I've been through everything bad, shit that we can't even talk about. I've been through everything bad you can think of. Been there, done it, had it done, all that. But I just never gave up. I never said, and I never make excuses. A lot of us, we make excuses the way we are. I'm the way I am because I grew up in the hood. The way I am because my dad was incarcerated or my mother was on drugs or my dad, like I don't have no mom, no dad. I don't have no college degree. Like I easily could be a knucklehead, but you gotta want it.
You gotta want it.
I don't care how bad Kurt want it or how bad Quick want it. If you don't want it for yourself, nobody else can make you believe in it. You can't expect somebody to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. So what I would say to the youngest that's wilding, I get it. I did it. I've been there, done that. I get it. And once again, I can't judge you because right now what's happening, and I just had this conversation with the mayor of Baltimore and DC. What's happening right now? It's a retaliation thing that's happening now. Right now, it's hard to tell a youngin to stand down. If I killed your kid right now, and could somebody tell you stand down?
Exactly, right.
Because ain't no stand down. If you do something on my son and my daughter, I'm telling you now, when I see you, I'm like, it is what it is. So when you've had a cycle of this for years and decades, right now, it's easy for us to be on the sideline, especially when we're not giving them resources, we're not giving them jobs, we're not giving them things they need that they can flourish from. And I know a lot of the cities and mayors and governors, they're trying. So I definitely commend Mayor Bowser, Mayor Brandon Scott in Baltimore. They're definitely trying. But, right now, it's a lot, man. I wish I had an answer that can stop it immediately.
You touched on it. You said a lot in that. And I think they can feel that with your experience and being paralyzed.
But I would say it's a never-ending cycle.
Right.
Or you can break the cycle. Literally, let me say it's a never-ending cycle. You can break the cycle because right now, if I shoot Kurt, he gonna shoot me. Then my brother gonna shoot you. My big homie, they're gonna shoot you. I mean, it is. We all got guns. We all everybody tough, and you. So right now, how long is that gonna go on before all y'all dead or in the box?
Exactly.
Life in prison. I got a cousin right now. I got to shout him out. Free P.D. Adams. That's my cousin. That's my right hand doing life in prison right now. Life. I've been fighting to get him out. He's been in jail now for the last 23 years. I'm young, 2 years older than me. So I tell people, you don't want to end up like that. We're all one decision away from a complete different life.
3 seconds away.
Yeah.
My man,
I love you, man. You my guy,
man. Do, man. It was a pleasure, honor, man. Any handles you want to shout out real fast?
Whatever, man. At DJ Quicksilva and everything. Of course, you can hear me on the radio. My radio show is syndicated now worldwide. I'm still heard in DC and Baltimore, but you can hear me in multiple cities now. Watch me on TV, DJing. I'm all over the place. C3 Dub is the brand. Quick and Easy DJs. I'm in the works right now. I give you exclusive soon, but I'm opening up a restaurant very, very soon. I'm in Baltimore that we just got the building for. So
they love me in Baltimore now. You get minority partner, man. Let me know, man.
That's my big thing right now. Honestly, I know we gotta wrap it up. When people always say, "Quick, what do you want to be known as?" I don't want to be known as an OG. I don't want to be known as a as a legend or as a celebrity, none of that shit. I want to be known as an inspiration. That's it, man. If I in my radio show the same way every day, I say if I inspire at least one person, I've done my job. And I pray today that I've inspired somebody who watches this, because that's my vision. Like, that's my goal, is just to inspire people, not by my words. We can talk shit all day, but by my actions, by my life. I got I forgot to plug it, but that shit. I got a documentary coming out called "Who Is Quicksilva?" Coming out this year. You know, a lot of stuff that we didn't talk about. When people watch my documentary, they can be like, "Holy shit!" Like, I thought dude was just a dude that DJ got lucky. Like, I didn't know this nigga been through all this shit. I ain't know his family. So like, you know, that's in the works, man. So.
Man, thanks again for coming, man.
Appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
Make sure y'all subscribe to Kirkbone TV.
This the OG,
y'all.
Make
sure y'all follow Quicksilva
at DJ Quicksilva with an A.
And an A. And then closing with my quick jewel. Basically, we said all the youngers, eye for eye. Eventually, it's gonna have to come to a halt. I see dudes, not every day, but a lot, that we lost people on both sides.
Facts.
And believe me, it's not bad as you think it's gonna be. You young, you going through a process, but it gotta get all wars ended sometime.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all subscribe to Kirkbone TV. Thanks for having you. The kingpin of partying.
Right.
Quicksilva.
Thanks, man.